y'all, I want y'all to know that we have been proposed to by the Good News Radio. So if you guys have been listening, you know that we are syndicated through the Good News. They are located out in LA. They got down on one knee and asked Chanel and I to be with them and only them. So that means that they want us to leave SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else that we are. They want us to leave them alone. And we have said yes. We have accepted the proposal. They ringed us. So, but we said, we need to have a bachelorette party. So we're still out here in these streets with SoundCloud, Google Play, and all the above, but there will come a time where we're going to have to transition, likely in April. So please download the Good News Radio app. The link is always in our show notes. It is on our Instagram at Brunch with Besties Pod. It is on our website, www.brunchwbesties.com. So please download the Good News Radio app if you would like to continue to listen to us. Like I said, we're not cutting it off right away, but eventually that time will come, and we don't want you to procrastinate because you know how we feel about that. So go ahead and download the app, get familiar with it, because that will be our new home. We are relocating. We are moving to LA. We've been flirting with LA. We've been dating LA for a minute.
But now we's getting married.
So, and we've been multi-dating.
Yes. Serial dating.
But serial dating, multi-dating, whatever. Call it whatever you like. But now they said that they want us to come and be with them. So download the Good News Radio app.
Yes, get it.
That is it. That is all.
Yes, get it while it's free. And just remember, not only are you listening to us, but there are other exclusive podcasts only on the TGN app. So take a listen.
Yes, and you can chat with us live. You can listen to the playback. So it has all the same features that you get now, plus more, because there is an interactive feature. So please do that. That is it. That is all.
That's all.
Now it's time for tea time.
Woo!
It's time for us to get all up in Eboni P's business, honey.
I'm just saying.
So, Eboni, let's start first by introducing yourself. Can you please tell our listeners who you are, if you don't mind sharing? How old are you? You mentioned that you were married. Tell us how long. Let us know if you have any children. Share as much or as little as you would like. I just want them to get a baseline of who you are.
Okay, well, my name is Eboni P. Jones, but on socials, I go by Eboni P. Y'all don't need to know what the P stands for. We'll talk about that later. I am 38. I've been married for 11 years. I do have a son. He is 10. And I also have a bonus daughter because my husband had a daughter before we got married. And you said more about me. Okay, so I am also CEO of Eboni P Ministries Incorporated. What that is, it is a 501c3 nonprofit that I started to bring the differently able, because I do not say disabled, I'm sure we'll get into that later, to bring the differently able and non-disabled communities together to promote inclusion, but to also encourage the differently able community that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. They just have to do it differently, and to take it a step by step in faith, and to tap into what God has placed in them. And I do that. It started off with the books. And then he started giving me visions of events. So then it turned into fashion shows and workshops and a lot of things.
That is just awesome. Well, look at you, Miss Eboni P. The P stands for purpose, y'all.
Okay, well, hello. Come on,
I love that. Yes.
Eboni Purpose Ministries.
Okay, hello.
Look.
So, and today we're talking about purpose, and Chanel and I actually in our studio, we actually have a purpose scripted on our wall because it means a lot to us. And it is, we always start off the show by saying what our mission is, right? To heal and help others as we heal and help ourselves. But the last part is through purpose-driven conversations, because we like to be intentional about what we do. And so I want to know, what made you have such a focus on purpose? Like, why was it imperative for you to write this devotional specifically about purpose?
Okay, well, what made me have the passion for a purpose is, first of all, when I was growing up, I didn't see a me. I didn't see a Ebony with cerebral palsy. I didn't see someone with cerebral palsy doing what it is that I'm doing. Like there was no person for me to look up to and be like, okay, she did it like this or he did it like this. I didn't see that. There was no representation of cerebral palsy to me, not in a positive light, I would say. It was more so because society always focuses on the negative of what someone can't do versus a positive. And I never questioned my cerebral palsy. I never questioned it. I wanted to understand it so that I could better utilize it in life and help other people. And it was like once it clicked in here and God was like, this is what I need you to do. I'm like, okay, let's go. So it's been go mode because and it's really because I didn't see a me. And I want younger people that are differently able or even older that don't have the courage or confidence or whatever it is, to know to if I have to be the face for it, I'll do it. Because I didn't want to be the face like of Ebony P Ministries. I did not. I was all for doing what he told me to do, but I wanted to do it in the back. Um, but he told me I had to be the face, and that's why because I feel like everybody has a purpose. If we were all, and I say this all the time, if we were all created the same, the world would be boring. Um, so that's why like purpose is important to me because we and I say this a lot too, God does not create waste. You understand what I'm saying? We are not wasteful. Everything that God creates has a purpose. So therefore we are purposeful. So why not help someone tap into their purpose? Because what you see in me, I might not see, and vice versa. But if I can use what God has poured in me to help someone get to where he needs them to be, then I'm all for that.
No, I love it. I love it. So can you explain to our listeners what cerebral palsy is?
Yes, the easiest way that I can explain what cerebral palsy is, it's like your brain having a stroke when you're coming through the birth canal, like the side of your brain that tells your legs and things what to do. That side of my brain did not receive enough oxygen as I was coming through my mom's birth canal. It was nothing that she did or anything like that. It was none of that. So cerebral palsy is strictly like your brain having a stroke from not receiving enough oxygen through the birth canal. And there's more than one type of cerebral palsy. Like cerebral palsy does not affect everybody the same. Like my best friend has cerebral palsy as well, and it affects her one of her arms, and with me, it affects my leg. There's many different kinds.
Okay. So Ebony, so this is something that you were born with?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So how did you deal with it? I know I'm kind of going back, but it's going.
No, it's okay. It's totally fine.
But growing up, so how did your family and you deal with it as you were growing up? And are you one of the only differently able people in your immediate family? Like, how did your family deal with that?
Well, I have three brothers. I am the oldest. And I was the only one born with cerebral palsy. And thank you for saying differently able, because thank you. I was the only one born with cerebral palsy. Yes. How did the family deal with it? Girl, regular. Ain't nothing wrong with you. That was my mom. Ain't nothing wrong with you. That was my mama. She literally, there was no like, because I was born in the 80s, okay, and then I was born in Chicago. So during that time, there was not a lot of, it wasn't as much technology and stuff as it is now. You understand what I'm saying? It was more so like, okay, you're gonna get these operations, you're gonna go to therapy, and that's gonna be it. And the Lord gonna do what he does. But as far as my family, my mom never treated me any different. Child, I got whoopings, I got put on punishment, I had to do chores just like everybody else. Like there was nothing different about me growing up. Like I had a good childhood. I got put on punishment child, got my phone took away. Just it was regular life. You know, it wasn't this is Ebony, our differently able sister. This Ebony. It wasn't no
How many
different.
siblings do you
I
have?
have three brothers. And I'm the oldest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I
Look,
love
she said,
that.
She need a whooping. She don't punch.
Are like top tier. Black
Whoopings.
folks don't play.
At all, don't care. Whoopings don't no matter. Okay. She didn't care.
That is so funny. Look,
Not
shouts
at
out to mama.
Yeah, okay.
Your mama.
Cause she ain't playing them games. Okay, not at all.
Listen. She
No,
said,
I love that.
But I love that empowerment though, to say, okay, you were born like this, but this is not a crutch. Like you're not about to use it as a crutch, and we're not going to allow you to use it as
yeah, for sure. And then I was my mom's first child. My mom had me when she was 20. And she went to the library to figure out what cerebral palsy was and how to learn about it, to better care for me, to find doctors and all of that stuff. And that's how we ended up here. Okay. My mama was not playing. She found a doctor here in the yellow pages. Okay. This was before we was Googling and stuff. Okay. She was in the yellow flicking. So yeah, it wasn't never a, okay, woe is me type of thing. It's like, okay, this is what you have. So what are we going to do?
Yeah. And I love that that she taught you that nothing's wrong with you. Like,
period. Because it's not.
Yeah, like you're different, but nothing's wrong with you, right? Like you're not broken.
What you say? Because see, that's why the Saints mad at me now. See, you got to don't see. That's why they mad at me now. I told you they gonna cancel me. We'll
yeah, because that's kind of like what's implied, right? When you're like, oh, this child is, she's a little different or whatever. But it's like, it's like, no, she's different, but in a good way. Like she's unique.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. But then you also said that you didn't see anybody like you. So then when you do stress differently abled, and obviously a lot of people always say disabled, which does have some negative connotations, right? Because it's saying, I don't know, I'm not disabled, right? So I don't want to.
Well, I said it for you, sis.
I'm
going to say what she was going to say, and then I'll follow behind. Because
it's all in the root word. So that root word dis means that something.
Come on, Chanel.
It's Chanel. That's it. It's the prefix that's throwing me off, right?
There we go. But that is what I'm saying. Like when you look up the word, see, y'all finna get me started. That's why they finna cancel me now, because of right what I'm about to say. Because when you look up the word disabled, right? It says unable to. It also says broken. And it also says physically or mentally limitations. I'm not broken. I'm not unable. Yes, I have physical limitations, but it doesn't stop me from doing anything. And that's why I call myself differently able. I don't care what the rest of the community say. I don't care if they unfollow me. I don't care, because I refuse to wear a label that's not me.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, and I'm glad that you broke down the actual definition. We had another lady on our podcast. She came on twice. Her name is Cerebral, and she is she's a master barber. She's an amazing beautician. She launched her own hair care line. She does lots of hair shows. She does everybody's hair who, she has done famous people's hair, right? Like she's great at what she does, is my point. And she came on our podcast, and it was called Labels to Success, because when she was in school, they said that she had all types of like mental limitations. But then later, somebody just told her, like, you learn differently. So once she learned how she learned, I'm actually very intelligent, right? Like I'm actually very smart. So it's one thing to have a limitation in one area. So, but basically all it really is that I can't do it the way you do it. So it doesn't mean that I can't do it. It just means I can't do it the way you do it. But can you do stuff the way that I do? Maybe not. So now are you disabled?
You see, and that's what I'm saying. And then what you just said about labels, because I did a video called Disable the Label. When you look up the word labels, right, there's definitions. One of the definitions said it's a piece of paper or fabric that describes something, you know, like in our clothes. But the definition below that says it's a classification or phrase about a person or thing that is usually inaccurate.
Whoa.
So again, it's like, I'm not going to carry that label. And anybody that follows me, I'm not going to encourage you to carry that label because you're not broken. You're not unable. Yes, you might have a limitation, but that don't mean you can't do it. They told me I wasn't supposed to have a kid. At one of them. Told me I wasn't going to walk, talk, breathe, or nothing. And
wow.
So it's like, and me and my best friend was talking about this earlier this week when we were working out. It's like when we were younger, you know, you go with the label because that's how they, you know, that's how they classified us. That's how they put it together to make it seem like we were accepted. And I got older. I started thinking about it, listening. This is not me. I refuse to wear a label that's not me.
Yeah.
Why?
God
didn't say I was disabled. He said I was fearfully and wonderfully made in his image.
Hello, somebody.
God does not create mistakes.
Yeah.
So cerebral palsy is a purpose. You understand what I'm saying? Cerebral palsy is my diagnosis.
Right.
Disabled, calling me disabled, that's a label.
Mm-hmm. It is.
There's a difference between a label and a diagnosis.
Yeah. Right.
And
not only that, but we got to be careful what we call ourselves, right? And the words that we speak. So if you calling me disabled, meaning limitation and unable to do stuff, well, then I might go through my whole life literally not living up to my purpose.
Absolutely. And think about how many differently able people there are that they give themselves that label.
And that's the thing. The crazy thing about it is Chanel, is exactly what you just said. My inbox, my DM, my emails have been going bananas from people in the community telling me that I'm wrong, and I don't care because I don't. And telling me
I love the hair toss though,
because I don't care. Telling me that I'm wrong because I refuse to call myself disabled. They sending me articles and all type of stuff. And I read the articles. I gave it a little time because I had a little free time to peruse the article. So, and I underlined the stuff and I said, this is proving my point. This is proving my point. Like, why do you want to be called handicapped? Why? Why do you want to associate yourself with negative? Like you just said, what we speak and what we think is what we become. If I literally live my life saying, yes, I'm Eboni P. Jones and I'm disabled. What?
Yeah.
It like, because it put you be thinking like, because the first thing you're going to do is think about all of the things that you're not going to be able to do. Like when they gave my mom my diagnosis, it wasn't Eboni has cerebral palsy, but she's still going to be able to do this. It was Eboni's not. They focus on the not. I'm not a not.
Right.
So I refuse to, I can't do it. And it will be a disservice to God for me to walk around carrying this label that's not me.
Yeah.
Cerebral palsy I'll carry because he gave it to me for a purpose.
Right.
But disabled, no, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna accept the path that he gave me, right? Which is the cerebral palsy. But I'm not going to allow you to limit me based off of your beliefs and your thoughts on what my abilities are and where they end.
For sure.
Because you don't get to say where my abilities start.
You don't get to say. You don't get to say, because I wasn't created in your image. I was created in God's image. So you can say whatever you want to say, because he has already spoken over me and what he has planned for me. So whatever label you want me to have, you can keep that over there, because I'm gonna walk in what he told me that I am. And it's not that I'm disabled. Sorry.
Listen, we are 32 minutes into this podcast and you just went preaching. Like,
I'm sorry.
How did we get here? Like,
it happens like that sometimes. I'm sorry.
Jesus. Whoa.
So how do you, so I love, okay, I'm just going to read this. Okay. This is in the opening of your book, chapter 1, What is Purpose? It says, purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created, the reason why something exists. Let that sink in for a minute. It's you versus you. Now let's break down this definition so you can start to uncover your purpose. So I'm wanting to know, what was your path? Like, how did you find out your purpose, and how would you articulate your purpose?
I actually, God pushed me there, because I was in a whole nother direction. Like, I knew that I wanted to do something to make an impact. I knew that I wanted to bring the two communities together. Like, I went to school for early childhood education. I have an associate's degree in early childhood education, because I wanted to open up a facility to bring the differently able and non-differently able together. In the midst of that, it's in the book too, but I'll tell you guys. In the midst of that, a teacher told me that I was going to be an endangerment to children because of my cerebral palsy. So, and she
hold on.
Oh.
A teacher at the school told you that you were going to be an endangerment
to the children,
to the kids. How, Sway? How?
I don't know.
As an early childhood educator, that's very disappointing to hear that. I've never seen that or heard anybody say that. And wow, I cannot believe that happened to you. That's crazy.
Yeah, she said that to me, and she flunked me. Like, I passed my student teaching, like all the reviews and everything was great. She flunked me. Let me tell y'all.
Oh my God.
I did not go to my graduation. I didn't do any of that because I just wasn't in the space. Like, and I had to write a letter to get my degree. I had to appeal to get my degree because of what she said. So when she said that, I went through a depression because I was like, okay, this lady said I'm an endangerment to kids, and this is what I want to do. And it's like, okay, God, so what do? I went to school for something else.
Oh.
I got a degree in medical coding and billing. Okay, didn't want to do that too long. Okay, because reading them doctor's handwriting make your eyes hurt because it'd be a mess. It's a lot. So I did that, and I'm like, this ain't it. And I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? I've always been a writer. My mom used to buy me journals and stuff all the time. Like, I used to do forensics and stuff in high school. Like, I've always did like poetry and writing and things like that. And I'm like, so, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And then when I had my son, when I had Calvin, and people was asking me questions like, well, how are you going to do this? And how are you going to do that? I was like, okay. So then I ended up writing the book, With Cerebral Palsy to a Queen.
Oh, that's the first book?
Yeah, that's the first book.
Wow. Okay.
So then it was that. But then it was like, tell your story through writing. But I'm also a talker. So then that's why I started doing the YouTube videos and all of that. And then he was like, no, like, God literally pushed me into my purpose. And he did it when I turned 33. Like, I was always doing
your Jesus year?
Right. That's what it was.
Yes, I was always doing stuff, but it was like, no, this is what I need you to do, and this is how I need you to do it. I listen, but I be like, You want me to what? Yeah, you said it what now? So it was like, okay, God, I have to, I have to. And I told my husband, like, okay, so this what God said. And he like, okay.
Aw.
So, it's God pushed me to my purpose because I was all over the place. And he is still talking and teaching, but in a different way.
Yep.
Mm.
Yes.
What cerebral palsy to a queen though? That was the first one?
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay.
and that will always bring yourself around. Like your purpose is to teach, to help and teach other people. So while
you're still teaching.
Absolutely, you still are. While that ignorant person tried to, dismiss you, but nah, like a phoenix, you rose
From the ashes, you rise.
Ashes, because that's crazy. But I'm glad you found it in another way. You're still getting to teach people and help people and do everything that a great educator does.
So my question is, I'm wondering, did you ever doubt your ability to parent or
once she said that just like that did it everything. I was like how am I gonna, if she say I'm an endangerment,
those are really strong words.
How am I going to, if I ever, because the doctor told me I wasn't gonna be able to have kids. So it was like, if I ever do be able to have kids, am I going to be an endangerment to my child?
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure your husband had to tell you, like, dude, we could do this.
This is a crazy thing, you guys. Like, when we found out we were pregnant with Calvin, it was like, oh, what? You say who? Because I got pregnant when I was 21, before I, got with my husband or whatever. And the doctors made me have an abortion. Because they said,
oh wow,
Ebony, what is wrong with people? Like what?
Listen, y'all said we're gonna talk, right? So we talking. I'm telling y'all what it is. So the doctors made me have an abortion because they said I wouldn't be able to carry the baby for a term. Like if I did, me and the baby would die. My mom went with me through that. When I went through that, I went through a depression from that. Like when I got with my husband, I didn't even tell him because I didn't forgive myself. Even though the doctor, told me, it was still like, I gotta, what I'm saying? This is a procedure for you. I have to live. You get what I'm saying with this? I didn't forgive myself. So I told him that I got pregnant and I lost the baby because I was still dealing with, my own issues from going through that. And we were trying to get pregnant and trying to get, pregnant. And it wasn't going. So he was like, we finna go to the doctor. We went to the doctor. First thing the doctor said was, is you on birth control? No, sis, that's why we're here. Then second, she was like, have you ever had an abortion? Oh, girl, it's over.
And that's when you should have said, mind your business.
Right.
I got to tell the truth now because, we're in the doctor's office, we trying to get, but the crazy thing is, when I released that and me and him talked about it, right after that, it was, Miss Jones, you're pregnant. No joke.
Wow.
Look, God was with that. God was like, get it off your heart. Like, it's okay.
Yeah,
this is
for sure.
He's going to understand the story. I got you.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. That's a dope story.
For sure. But even with that, like, even when Calvin, when he came, I was still like, okay, how am I going to do this? Because those words were still in my head.
Those words are going to stay in my head forever. So I can only imagine.
Let it go, friend. Let it go. Let it fly like a bird. But those words,
let it go.
Be free. Those words were still in my head. So it was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? So we got a bassinet with wheels because I wouldn't be able to, pick him up and carry him around the house. So we got a bassinet with wheels. I would push him through the house. Now this is the thing, you guys. When Calvin got to the, stage and age where he was ready to crawl, ready to walk, this was me. Oh my God. First, because to see him do everything that I wasn't able to do at, you know what I'm saying, at that age, because like I couldn't crawl or anything like that. So I didn't experience any of that. But to see him like getting up and walking, y'all, I would be scared. I would pick him up and put him back on the couch. Like, no, you you can't, you can't, you can't do that. You can't walk because I was scared. But I had to let go of my fear and put him down. Like, okay, because I just kept thinking if something happened to him, I wouldn't be able to get to him. But
Right.
it was also the fear of like, am I putting him in danger?
That's
Because-
what it truly was. Those words.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can
Yeah.
cause permanent damage. So I'm glad that you were able to let that go.
Listen.
Whew.
Thank
And
you.
look, and Calvin is how old now? Did you say 10?
He's
Yeah.
10, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sure he's running around doing everything now. 10.
Yeah,
Right.
running around, flipping, all that.
Hey, all kinds of things. But yeah, those words will stick with you, and it's so important to release and heal and understand where that came from. Because had that not been said to you, I'm pretty.
Yeah, I wonder
sure
if you would have
had
even.
that fear because your
Yeah,
family
I wonder
was
if
like,
you would have
girl,
even
ain't nothing wrong
thought
with
about
it.
it.
Yeah, I don't think you would have thought about it.
Yeah, and that's what it goes back to when I say like the words that we speak and think and the words that people speak over, it plant them seeds because I always had that in the back of my head.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously, you're different, right? But you don't
Mhm.
think that you're limited. You think like, okay, how can I do this?
Yeah,
Not
like
I
how
can't
I'ma
do
do
this.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, how can I do it? So, wow, what a way to be knocked back down, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
interesting. So then, and I'm wondering too, with, hearing those words and thank God that your mom, that it didn't start at home, that it was more of an outside force that was speaking negatively. But I'm wondering too, like, how did that affect even you saying like, I want to go to college, I want to get married, I even wanting to have kids?
I knew I hold on. See, that's was God. I ain't want no kids. I was team no children ministry. Amen. I was team no kids. So that was definitely all God. But I did know that I wanted to go to college and do things like I knew that. So that's why I did those things. But everything after that was God, because I ain't want no kids. And I didn't think like, when you're younger, like you have the desire to be married and all that stuff. Like I had boyfriends and stuff. Okay, y'all gotta get the book. It was a lot going on in the years. I had boyfriends.
This
and
is
stuff.
hello book.
Listen.
Little light. We did it. We actually turned the book into a play, and I was going to bring the play back, but Corona happened. So it stifled that. But shout out to Nadia Petite because she is the one who helped me turn the book into the play. But
Oh, that's dope.
yeah, so I'm gonna work on bringing that back because people still be asking about that. But yeah, it was an experience, and like if life was just an experience, a lot of words were spoken over me through the years, like good and bad. So it was like I had to decipher. Like it was never from my mom or anything like that. It was outside, which in turn made me like, okay, girl, you know what I'm saying? Cause like the insecurities and stuff, it didn't happen until like I got older.
Oh.
Cause you start, you know what I'm saying? You start to see stuff and I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Interesting. So you just going about your married life, minding your business.
Mm-hmm.
And then these outside forces are kind of like trying to knock you into the box that they think that you belong, or the label.
Yeah, and it's like even when me and my husband got together, his mom, may she rest in peace to my mother-in-law, she wasn't for it at first, y'all. She said, she said, how are you going to be able to take care of my son? She was not for the buffoonery, okay? And I said, oh, this what we doing. So, but my husband, he stepped in and he handled that. But as she got to know me and see how I maneuver and move, she was like, oh, never mind. I'm sorry. And like we became like really, really close after that. So it's always, when people see me, they look at this first.
Mm-hmm.
This is Tamika, by the way.
Okay.
Tell the listeners that are gonna listen and they won't be able to see. Tell them what you just showed us.
I just showed y'all my quad cane. Okay, she's decorated and ready to go. Okay, she's a little bedazzled.
Bedazzles, yes.
She got little jewels at the bottom. But when people see me, they see the cane. But then, like when they hear me talk and they see my personality, they be like, "Okay, never mind." But I had to get to a point where I just tune everybody out, because if I kept listening to what everybody say or something like that, I'll be a mess. Like I'll be depressed all over again. And I refuse. Like when I started sharing my walking videos and my standing videos, like people were like, oh my God, you so, some people had some negative stuff to say. Okay, one of the saints, I ain't gonna tell y'all who they is, because y'all might know them. I'm not gonna say their name, okay? I'm not gonna say their name. But somebody said that I looked like a zombie, right? With my arms walking out like that when I first it's your face, friend. When I first started with my walking videos and my arms were like that. And the crazy thing about it is me and this person were really like this. Like we did things together. And I was like, and I was just in awe for a moment, you know what I'm saying? And like when God told me that's what he wanted me to do, like start walking without Tamika and like start standing with, I said, damn, you can play you talking to me? You want me to what? But one of my favorite stories in the Bible also is the man at the pool of Bethesda. And y'all know he was laying at that pool for them good 38 years. He was laying there and all of them people, and he ain't asked nobody to help him in the water. He was just laying. But when Jesus came to him and asked him, did he want to receive his healing? He said, yeah, but he was fearful at first. And I was fearful at first, but all God kept telling me was, people need to see me.
Yeah.
They need to see me. So show it all. And like I had these videos where I done bumped into the wall, where I done made it to the destination. Sherry said, and I didn't even notice this until you said it, when you was like, you get stronger every week. Like
you do. Because I be watching.
I never noticed that until you said it. And then last week, when I was 35 seconds away from making it to the whole song, all I heard in my head was you.
You get stronger every week. You do.
Because I be working out every day, trying to work out some tear me down. But I had to put what I was feeling out the way and do what God told me to do. Like, and whatever's gonna come from that, I'm willing to carry that. Like, if people unfollow me, if they don't understand it, I don't care. I'm gonna say what he tells me to say. I'm gonna show what he tells me to show, because this is my purpose.
Indeed.
Like it's so amazing to me how when God tells us to do something and we try to, focus on that and be about the purpose, it's always somebody that got to try to distract you.
It's always.
It's the audacity. The audacity is at all times.
Because if you don't like it, you could just keep scrolling.
All you can do.
Just unfollow, unfriend.
Just keep exactly.
And that's the age-old rule. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Like, just keep it.
Yeah, and it's like, when people don't, with me, that fuels me even more. So tell me you don't like it. Tell me I look like a zombie. And please tell me I can't, because I'm going to show you that I can. So just do that. Like, I feed off of that, because I know what God told me to do. Like, I ran from it for too long. So it's like, okay, sis, come on. This is what I told you to do. I need you to do this. And this is what's gonna happen. Like, he's like, your friend circle's gonna change. And like, people are gonna start falling off. People are gonna feel like you this and you that, because you're saying what I'm telling you to say.
Wow.
Listen.
So.
Listen, that healing hurts. We just talked
about how healing hurts.
I listened to it this morning. Okay, and that's what I was going during my workout.
Healing hurts, okay? It'll shake up some things. But it's okay.
It definitely does.
Anyway, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I live by release, rebuild, restore. That's it.
Say it again.
Release, rebuild, restore.
Release, rebuild, restore. Okay, say more about that.
Because you can't, like, you have to release in order to be able to go to the next thing, right? If I didn't release all of the negative things that were said about me, or all the negative things that I thought about myself, I wouldn't be able to be present at this point. And then taking all of that, rebuilding it and restoring it to what it is now. Like, you need those three, and that's going to be a continuous cycle. You're going to continue to release, rebuild, and restore as you grow. Just like you're going to continue to push, press, and pray. Like, they interchange. Like, you need all of them.
That's good.
Release, rebuild, restore. Okay.
That's good.
The release part be the struggle. You understand what I'm saying? Because we be trying to hold on. And then when we get to the rebuild part, we be trying to be the potter and the clay at the same time. You can't do both.
Can't do it. It don't work. Well, we can only do one.
Right.
Yeah. You can only be the clay.
Right. But
You're
we
never
trying to be both, because we be like, oh no, I'm gonna do this over here. No, you can't do that.
We be trying. It don't work. But I saw a video yesterday, and I think it was when we was at the studio, but it was Tamara when she was leaving the reel and she was crying. And the caption said, like, when God tell you to leave your circle, but you don't want to, or something like that.
Yeah. Listen, hey, that be real, because you be having them attachment to people, but it's like, when everybody say, like, everybody can't go where God is trying to take you. But when you really are living that and you see the people, like, leaving, you be like, dang.
Yeah. But you got to go anyway now.
You got to go. You got to be about your purpose.
Exactly.
You got to choose your purpose over people.
Yeah, definitely.
What? Choose the purpose over people? Because listen, if you're not pushing me to my purpose, then why are you here?
Exactly.
Why are you here?
Exactly.
You're taking up space. Like, I don't have time for seat fillers.
Wow.
Like, because I extended myself so much, and I really had to learn, like, through my healing journey, like, that access to me is a privilege. Like, it's a privilege. Like, people don't realize that access to people and their time and their space, that's a privilege. Because people don't gotta give you their time. They don't gotta take it. That's a privilege.
But people feel entitled to it sometimes because you've been giving it to them. But everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. And, sometimes we just don't make them pay the price.
Exactly.
Right?
Because we done paid it. That's why.
Exactly. Because we fit the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Wow. Oh my goodness.
I'm so inspired by the story.
I'm writing down. I'm like, release, rebuild.
Seriously, I'm like differently able. All these new words in my repertoire.
because it's a thing. Like, you really gotta watch what you speak over yourself. Like, what Mary Jane was doing when she had them words of affirmation, you gotta do that. Like, you have to speak to yourself and encourage yourself, because when you step outside these doors,
it's crazy.
People will tear you down with their word. It is crazy because, like Chanel said, right, we could just be quiet and mind our business, but it's true, unfortunately. So what affirmations do you tell yourself?
I say one thing: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's all I say.
That's all you need right there. That's it.
That's all I say every day. And then I do one of these and then one of these. And then right. And then I put my rap music on and, start the day.
Hey.
I have to, like, because I have to encourage myself. And then I know that it's people looking for me to push them. So if I'm not in a space, I can't do what God needs me to do. Like, when them quotes that y'all be seeing me post, like, I don't write those down. I really want y'all to know that. Like, God literally gives them to me. Like, in the morning when I'm up moving around, I'm like, oh, there we go. Okay, let me sit down and have it in my phone. And if the quote is not out, because certain people have me exit to them before I put it on social media, because they want the quote for themselves. And if the quote is not to them by a certain time, they're like, is you okay? Is your friend? I need my inspiration. Like, one of my friends texted me and was like, she called me by the P. She the only person that called me by my middle name, and I answered. She was like, where's my quote? Because I almost pissed these people out at work. And I was like, dude, I pressed in. You didn't get it. And she was like, no. So I literally have to put myself in a space, because God has already told me, like, that I'm an encourager. So I have to make sure that I'm okay. And when I'm not okay, I say I'm not okay. And I'd be like, and it took me a long time to get to that point too. I just
tell us, how did you get to that point?
To say that I'm not okay?
Yeah, to own not being okay.
Because I was everything to everybody, and nobody was nothing to me. And the ones that were appreciative to me, they made it known, they let me know, and I appreciate them for that. But I'm a helper, so I'll extend myself beyond extension. And I'm also a carrier. Like, if somebody tells me something, I'm going to carry it until I know that they are okay. That's why I don't allow a lot of people to touch me, because spirits travel.
Yes, they do.
And I'm a carrier. So it was to the point where I was having a breakdown. Like, I felt it coming. And I was like, okay, I have to be strong enough to say that I'm not okay. And I reached out to one of my friends and I was like, sis, I need a therapist, because I'm not okay. Like, I had daddy issues that I did not heal from. And I knew if I didn't heal from them, it would destroy my marriage.
Oh, wow.
Because I was a very defensive person. Defensive because of my cerebral palsy, but then also just my daddy issues. And I was like, okay, sis, you can't keep doing what God is telling you to do if you're not all the way healed. Get it together. So I got it together, because I was still doing what he told me to do, broken.
Right.
Still, still encouraging, still this, but broken, and then it's like, that's not the move, sis. We need you to get this together. So
right. And I mean, and that's admirable, right? But eventually he wants you to evolve from that. Because same thing. Did it all, broken.
Okay, hello.
But then you realize that you're really not giving people the best of you.
Right.
Because it's gonna keep coming up, no matter how you try to bury it or dismiss it for yourself. It's like that word vomit. It's gonna come out, and
for sure.
Like, okay, now I have to deal with it. Just purge it, let it come out, and heal.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the situation with your dad?
Girl, now. Ooh, do we have time? No. We have time, bro. Do we have time? The tea gonna get cold by the time I finish going over there. But the gist of it was, my dad was incarcerated for 23 and a half years for a murder that he did not commit. But all my issue with my dad was he didn't want my mom to keep me. Because I didn't get diagnosed with cerebral palsy till I was 2. But the point of the fact that even before the diagnosis, he didn't want her to keep me. My dad was in jail like my whole life. My dad literally got out of jail like right before I got married, guys. Like right before he was able to walk me down the aisle and all of that. And I still had issues with him then. Like we was fighting as he was walking down
the aisle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it was just the fact that of him not. It was like, why you don't, you know what I'm saying? Why you didn't want me? You understand what I'm saying? And then to like, when he did get out, he did end up getting in a relationship with a young lady whose daughter have cerebral palsy. So it was like I was looking at him take
God
care
is
of her.
Hilarious. Like, really?
Yeah. Very much so. Look at the pot and the kettle, like, sir.
Yeah, I was looking at him, take care of her. It was just like, oh, okay. And so it was like all of that was in my head, you know what I'm saying? And my dad's side of the family, they're not affectionate. They're not a I love you type of, hey, they're not that. Like I could tell my daddy I love him. He'd be like, like, and my grandma just passed, his mom, back in November, and we went to the funeral, and that's where God freed me from everything with that, because I was sitting there, and God kept telling me, "This what you was stressing yourself about being a part of." Look at it.
Wow. Well, our condolences to you on the passing of your grandmother.
Thank you. It was like, look at it. No.
And see, and that's the thing. Sometimes God gotta show us, like, sometimes we think we want stuff that we really don't want. It don't mean us no good,
Yeah, and it's like, and then even with that, like when I seen my dad, I hugged him. And I was just like, it's okay. And he was like, we need to talk. No, we don't. Because I don't wanna reopen any of it. I'm done. Like I'm done with it. I don't want to sit down and talk about it and reopen it back up for what? Like it's not gonna change the fact of what was done. What was done, what was said. It's okay. Like we're good. Like I don't want to reopen. You don't gotta explain. I forgive you. Hug it out. We can exchange numbers. We can text. We can whatever. And that's it. Like.
So that makes me wonder, did that, like knowing that was his thoughts at the time when you were born, that he did not want you, did that play into like abandonment issues that you saw in relationships or with friends or anything like that?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Because I was like, okay, so is you gonna be a friend for real, or do this? Is it a time limit? You get what I'm saying? Like, is it a time limit on this? But once God was like, listen, you gotta get it together. Cause it did. Like I would look at my friendships like, okay. And I'm such a giver. So it's like, okay. And it's like, no, this is not okay. This is not okay. So, but and this is the thing, once I faced me, like all the way, it was like, okay, girl, just come on. Like, come on. Like it's a continuous work. Like you can't stop the process. That's why I said you're going to continue to release, rebuild, and restore. It's a continuous process. Like as you grow, as you heal, it's a continuous process, and you're always going to be healing from something.
You know what? I think sometimes God has to show us what the reality is, because we create something in our head, right? And we want something so bad because we have an image of what we think it is. And then God is like, well, let me just show you what it actually is so you can accept the fact of your situation, right? So you see it, and then you like, oh, I would never want this. No, thanks.
Exactly. It's this that eye-opening acceptance piece, and you like, this is not what I thought.
Like one thing that I had to realize about my dad, so he also was in jail for 20 plus years, you know. Okay. But he also had a drug habit, and that's what got him in jail.
Okay.
But and I used to always be like, oh, if he was here, it'd be different or whatever. And I'd have two parents, and my mom went to have to struggle and whatever. But I'm like, no, honey, if he would have been here, he'd be on drugs. You know?
Right.
It's
I don't want that. I don't, you know, upon further review.
That's not really what I wanted.
You know, it worked out better off for my mom to divorce him, for him to be in jail, because then that's when he was only clean, was when he was in jail. And then every time he got out, he would go back to doing the same thing until he got back in jail. And that was God protecting him, putting him in jail. Mm-hmm. Okay, because many people have been doing drugs for years and have died. You know,
quickly.
So, and thankfully he was able to turn his life around. But that's one of the things that I had to accept. Was like, actually, you know what? It's better off. I'd rather have a struggling mother than come home and because my mom told me after I found out why he was in jail that I read about it, but that he took her car and gave it to the drug dealer, made her think it was stolen. Come home, the furniture gone. Like I can't. That's too unstable. I cannot survive in an environment like this as a child, right? So I'd rather hear the stories from her, and that's all.
You didn't have to experience that. Yeah, I definitely agree with my daddy issues. With I just, in my mind, he was like this blank, shadowy figure. Like I didn't have a face or anything, so I was just like making it up as I go. Like, oh, we would have done this. Like,
why do we romanticize it?
I definitely romanticized my dad, and I was like, he's so nice. And then
like, why is our fake daddy in our head Cliff Huxtable? Like, why is he
that's the image we saw that felt comfortable? Because Jesus, my dad was like, I just wanted to be in the streets. Like, I didn't want to raise no kids. I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, but I think that's where the hurt comes in, because we think that we really missed out on something, and not to say that
that's good, but that's good. That's actual facts, though. We do feel like we missed out on something.
We feel like we missed out.
Really, when
we were protected.
Yeah, God was protecting us.
We were protected. Like, never mind the fact that I had a stepdad, not to say that that we didn't miss out on having our fathers, because we did, right? But we didn't miss out in the way that we think that we did.
Exactly.
Because I'd probably be on drugs,
Listen,
because my mom said the only way that you can deal with somebody on drugs is you have to either be crazy or on drugs.
Yeah.
That's it. So, upon further review, it actually kind of worked out.
Upon further review.
Upon further review,
that silver lining be everything. So it's always something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look, one change can change the whole trajectory of your life. So ain't no telling how our lives would be if our dads was there.
Listen, because I know, and I say this all the time, if God did not place me with my mom, I know I wouldn't be like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know it, because I've seen, I've seen the other side of the coin. When a person when a person is differently able and they don't have the support that I have.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, because my mama was a girl by. You what? Girl, you said what? Ain't nothing wrong with you. Like, when I was having my surgeries and stuff, she wasn't putting no Pampers on me. I had cast with a bar in between my legs. My mama took my underwear and cut holes and put shoestrings in them and sat on the floor next to me and was like, scoop yourself to the bathroom and push yourself up. Wow. There's nothing wrong with you. So it's like.
So she just said you can still go. You just got to go different.
Yeah, she said, because we're not going to put no pamper on you because I'm not going to change your pamper. Because first of all, you're in the 4th grade. I'm not going to change your pamper. You're going to go to that. So it's like God places you right where you need to be
where
with
you need to be.
Who you need to be with. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I know if I wasn't with my mom, I wouldn't be where I am.
Not at all. Not at all. You wouldn't. Shout out to your mama. Mama,
okay. Yes,
you are amazing. Like that's
yes. Shout out to mama.
Okay,
look, mama said you just got to find your own way to do it. You know.
Yeah. First of all, mama called when I was she called.
Mama did call.
She's still calling. Like I said, I'm doing something.
Listen. Well, shout out to mama.
But that's even like with my husband though. Like, and me and him was just talking about this. Like, he allows me to be who I am because y'all see I'm a whole lot. Okay, it's a lot in this little package. But when we got together, I saw a calling on him, you know, and I was like, you need to go and do. And I told him, I was like, I'm gonna go to the class with you, cause I have my minister's license, and he is the assistant pastor at our church. But this is the thing. I encouraged him to go to the classes, right? And I was like, I'm gonna go with you for more support. I was doing the homework and stuff too. And our bishop was writing on my homework, like, what is you waiting on? To walk and say, and I politely wrote him back, what is you talking about? I told you the reason why I was coming to this class was to support my husband, was to support Bernard. And y'all, when I tell y'all the last day of the last 2 weeks of the class, I broke out in boils. No joke, right? To tell y'all how God is. I broke out in boils all up under my arms and everywhere, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad, right? And I was sitting in class like this, hurting, and had to go to the bathroom. And God was like, I'm not letting you get up until you turn this homework in and you walk in what I told you to walk in. He was like, you ain't gotta be a pulpit. That's not you. But you're gonna walk in what I told you to walk in. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not. Still sitting there shaking. Like, I was still sitting there like this, like, and then as soon as I said, and I was just, it was hurting so bad, y'all. And I was like, okay, let me stop playing because I really gotta pee and it's hurt. So then I was like, then I handed my stuff in and I was like, okay, Bishop, rock with you. I'm gonna be for real. I'm gonna start running for real. And like days after that, everything just dried up. No joke.
Wow.
Like I was in pain, y'all. It was serious.
Look, I was like, I said what I said. Okay.
Hey, my running game was strong, and I can't even run yet. But my
emphasis on the yet.
Emphasis on the yet, because it's coming. Please stay tuned. So, but it was strong because I was like, like I always talked about, you know, God and use God's word as encouragement, but now it's on a whole totally different, like, this is what I need you to do. And this is how I need you to say it. Like,
but you know what? That's how God is. He like, I said what I said. Even the fact that your dad ended up dating a woman who had a child who had cerebral palsy. He's like, I said what I said. What I said.
In the Nene Leakes voice, okay?
Listen.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Said, I ain't gonna keep repeating myself with y'all now.
Right. Either way it go, this is what it is.
And you're gonna do what I said.
You're gonna do what I said.
Listen.
Yeah. And it's so hard to, like, when you're comfortable in a situation, to allow yourself to be uncomfortable, which his is one of the chapters in the book, being uncomfortable for your purpose. Like, I literally had to allow myself to be uncomfortable.
That's true, because look, when he give you instructions and he tell you to go somewhere that you've never been or leave a place that you've always been, or it's like, but I like it here.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? But it's not till you leave that you realize where you actually were. Like yesterday, Chanel and I were talking about the whole idea of a frog in boiling water, right? And not being aware that you're even in a toxic situation because you got comfortable there. You never built a house there.
So it's not nothing, you don't see nothing wrong.
It's the devil that you know, right?
Yes, that's good.
That's crazy. Oh my God. Look, time then ran out.
Because we done had a whole conversation. Okay, so that just means y'all can have me back in March for Cerebral Awareness Month. Okay, y'all see how I just do that?
Yes, I love it.
Let's do it.
I love it, and that's what I wanted to ask. When you did say that it was a calling on your life to bring both groups together, because I was wondering. I was like, okay, the people that's following her, are they differently abled, or are they me? Are they just people like me? Because okay, because I was like, I'm still gonna follow because I like the work.
Listen, that statement applies to anybody though. Like if you don't like it, please unfollow. No, it's a mix. I have a mix. I have a mixed following. I have a mix in my class. Everybody that's in the class is not differently able. I do have a mix of following, but because I'm standing so strongly on this don't call me disabled thing, like a lot of because I'm called in what they want to be called. Disabled, they don't like that. And it's fine. And I told them, and I'm like, so that shows y'all not listening to me. Because I said, you can answer to what you want to answer to. You can still call yourself that. But as for me, it's a no-go. Yeah. But my following is very mixed. Like I have some celebrities that follow me, and I appreciate them so much. But it's mixed. It's mixed. And I'm not one of those people that, and this is no slight to them that do it, but I'm just saying, I'm not one of those people that please share my this or this and that, because I'm not doing it for that. Like who is gonna reach is who is gonna reach.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't want you to share my stuff because you're giving me sympathy or you feel sorry. Because maybe I don't feel sorry for me, okay? I don't. So yeah, it's interesting. It is very interesting. Like when you really are walking in what God says that you are, and when you're no longer okay with something, how other people just look and be like, oh, so she don't want to be called this anymore. Oh, so she thinks she better than us. I said none of those things. Y'all said it.
Listen, I'm just changing
That's it.
narrative. That's all I'm doing. So you can do whatever you're doing.
And not only that, but I have the right to evolve, change, and grow.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And then it's crazy because you inspire me so much, but now you mad at me because I don't want to be called disabled, and that's okay.
Girl.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It is, because they really gonna hate me starting March 1st. The party goes on March 1st.
Here we go.
It's starting.
That is funny. That is so funny. But no, I mean, people have the right to be called because you don't have, look, be careful what you answer to, right?
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like why though? Why? Why would you? Why? So we just want to walk down the street and be like, I'm Black, and that's it. Like, but
I was in a nail salon today, and the lady told me, because there was another lady in there, and I believe that they have the same heritage, but she was a darker pigment. She was like, yeah, they're speaking in broken English, but she essentially said like, oh, she looks like your guy. And I was like, what guy? And she was like, dark like you. And I was like,
Not during Black History Month. Like,
exactly. I was like, did she just say niggas be dead? Or what did she just say?
Sound like it to me. During Black History Month. Like, look.
That sounded a little, what you say sis to me?
It sounded a little racist, but I was like,
it's a 10.
I think she's trying to say like, that she's biracial. She has the same heritage as you. I think that's what she was trying to get at. But,
okay, we're gonna go with that. But I feel like her pinky toe was stepping in the.
It was tap dancing right along the side of racism. But it's okay.
It was doing a little light tap,
Just a little light tap. I was like, that's interesting.
Right.
I was like, so you gonna stand this close in my face and file my nails and tell me and call me?
Right, you just talked about me, but you want me to hold my hand out like this?
Yeah. You like casually, and I was on my way out because the other girl messed up, so she literally was like standing face to face with me, filing my nails, and I was like, so you gonna insult me right in front of my face, like directly, like there is no 6 feet gap.
Just insult my intelligence.
Just insult me. But no, but I agree. You definitely have to be careful what you answer to and what you allow, right? Because we get to have boundaries. And if your boundary is, I want to be called differently abled, you can also call me Eboni P.
Yeah,
right? Okay. Hello.
But if that's a boundary, then people just have to respect it. They don't have to like it. That's the thing. You don't have to like it. You don't have to. You must respect it. That's
on Big Bird, because listen, I'm not going to stop saying it. So if you're tired of hearing it, like I said, there's a unfollow.
Yeah, and that's the thing about boundaries, right? Is you don't have to understand it, you don't have to get it, it don't have to make sense to you, you don't gotta like it, but you must respect it. And if you can't, then you don't belong here. Yeah. But that's the thing about when you set boundaries, right? Then people be like, what? Even though it's really not a big deal, like just don't disrespect me. If I tell you that I think it's disrespectful, all you have to do is just not do it. It's not even that big of a deal. But now we got to keep talking about it because you refuse to do one simple thing. I made one request.
I just listen,
and my request isn't even about you, it's about me. Yeah, I didn't say you can't be called disabled.
Listen, I said you can call yourself what you want to call yourself. But it's for me. Exactly. And these legs. And this Tamika over here. We will not.
I love that, Tamika.
Yeah. She don't got no middle name and nothing, just Tamika. You know what I'm saying?
First name only. I love it.
Yeah, first name only. Because it's like, again, like I said in the beginning, what we speak and what we think is what we become.
Sure.
Like, that's not what God told me I was. That's not what I'm living. Like, that's what y'all because y'all need a label for society purposes. Like I said, there's a difference between a diagnosis and a label. Like, I have no problem with, that's just like I said. So when y'all see me, do y'all say, oh yeah, that's Eboni, the girl with the disabled girl? What? No. Y'all don't even say that's Eboni with cerebral palsy. Y'all think it's Eboni.
Exactly.
But it's like, y'all think about it. Think about it. Like, and it's like you're fighting for inclusion, right? But the way that you're fighting for inclusion, you're compromising. I can't do that. You're not gonna tell me to say this or make me up this way because this appeals for the media. I'm not gonna do it. I'm going to show every part. I'm going to show that my toes cross because of my muscle spasms. I'm going to show that I'm working on standing up. I'm going to show all of those things. I don't care what the media portrays as what something is supposed to look like, because everybody with a different ability looks different.
Yes.
But y'all
because you've accepted yourself.
Yeah, and it's like y'all say y'all want inclusion, but y'all are getting inclusion by compromising. Because you're only showing certain parts of you. You're showing the parts of you that they're gonna do this for. You're not showing the parts of you that have struggled, that have grown, that have had to figure out how to go to the bathroom by yourself, get yourself dressed, like put your shoes on. Like, I literally at times have to relax my muscles and be like, okay, shoes, come on, let's go on today. I used to not wear certain shoes because I would be frustrated with how long it would take me to put the shoes on. But then I got over that. I used to not wear sandals because I was like, I don't want nobody to see my son. But then I got over that. It's like, no, show the part because somebody needs to see it. And if
right,
they
and they
don't
still toes.
hello, they still toes. Like, I wear kid size too. Okay, hello.
Okay.
Look,
I'm just so it's like you have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable.
yeah. And to accept yourself. I love how much you just accept yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
Me and Chanel also talking about how everybody gonna be looking alike because everybody's getting all the plastic surgery to have the same body.
All the BBLs and all of that stuff. And then they're gonna be calling K Michelle talking about my body.
Exactly.
Right.
A mess.
I don't know how to like it took me so long to get to this point that I refuse to go backward.
I know that's right.
Like, so if you don't like it, don't look. Okay. Just,
okay.
It's just it. Like,
if you don't like it, it's okay.
It's definitely okay because I'm still gonna be me, and I'm still gonna.
It doesn't change it. You not liking it doesn't change who I am or my ability or what I do. So don't like it. Not liking it only bothers you.
So when you know who you are, when you understand who you are, it's easier for you to come into your purpose. Because you understand that with coming into your purpose, like you said, people are going to fall off. People are going to understand. Like one of the chapters is your purpose versus your thoughts versus people's opinions.
Other people, yep.
It's like you got like people gonna say what they gonna say. So why not do what you know you're supposed to be doing? It's like we know. God done already told us, but we be looking for the yes from somebody else. And then when they don't give us that yes, then you right, that's not my purpose.
It's a distraction. Look, that's why you gotta guard your focus.
Yep.
Distract people, right?
Distract people. Purposeless people distract people. Okay.
Ooh, that's the one right there.
Purposeless people distract people. You have no purpose, so you're going to distract someone else from their purpose.
Exactly. Because if you had some, you'd be busy minding your business.
That pays you.
You wouldn't even have time to write and tell me that I look like or whatever they said you looked like.
Or sending me any articles in that nature because you would be minding the business that pays you.
That was it.
And I always have to remind myself, they talked about Jesus, so they gonna talk about me too. So I might as well give them something to talk about.
Okay, listen. That was
if you're gonna do anything, what they say, do too much.
Hey.
If you don't do too much, you're doing nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
You gotta go big or go home. Because this is the purposeless people that distract people from me, okay? You have no purpose.
Interesting.
You have no purpose, so you're gonna distract me from mine.
Indeed.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'd rather not.
Yeah, so find out what you were designed and created to do, and then you can worry about that and leave me alone. Wow. But yes, I agree. We're definitely going to have you come back. And I'm like, should we talk about, well, I guess you know what, like you said, it's cerebral palsy awareness.
We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Okay, I'm just saying.
We will have to figure that out because we didn't really get into the book, but sometimes that's just what happened when people come on.
It's okay. It's a self-explanatory.
I read one passage.
She said I read one passage, but that was the passage that needs to be heard.
Okay.
That part.
Because God needed us to say other things. So it's okay.
He needed us to say other things. So yes, we'll have to do a part 2.
Absolutely.
But I do love how you are just out here living your best life though. Like on the back of this book, when I tell you she got the faux locks going, okay, nails painted, face beat, look showing a little tongue. She got the crop top on.
Little workout stomach, But listen, I'm preparing y'all. We finna do a photo shoot, okay? We're doing a photo shoot and it's coming. Okay, so please stay tuned for the pictures. Okay, it's coming.
Yes,
it's coming. Every Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, I do a photo shoot.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes. That's
okay. So that was this photo that's on the back of your purpose book. Was that from the shoot?
Yep, that was from last year's Cerebral Palsy Awareness shoot.
Got it. Okay.
I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I at least just want to read the back.
Okay, read it, friend, read.
Okay, your purpose and your form are different from others for a reason. Be proud of that because, again, your life has purpose. There is a reason why you were created and why you exist. It is up to you to tap into and trust the process as your purpose takes form. And that's what I love about it, because we have to celebrate our differences, right? Like, you know, like how you said, your purpose is for a reason. So you can't say, oh, I want to look like this. I want to be able, you know, I want to be like this person. You're not that person. So if you're gone, then you're missing. Like literally there's stuff out here to be done that's not being done because you've rejected who you are because you think somebody else is more worthy than you.
Else. We need exactly. You.
Who gonna be you? The other person is already taken. Who's gonna be you? And who's gonna do your work?
Ooh. You always gonna be with yourself, so you gotta know yourself first.
That's the part.
And also, and when you reject your purpose, you are rejecting yourself, right? And then when other people reject you, it's because you first rejected yourself. You said you weren't good enough.
The rejection starts with you. Y'all see, y'all know what? Y'all be having, y'all been trying to have me on this here podcast, cannot. Like I don't got no sense. I'm not gonna do that with y'all this evening.
Well, we're gonna do it next time.
There we go. Okay, it's gonna be part 2.
We'll hold it.
Listen.
I'm gonna have a different wig by then, baby.
Hey, girl, look,
we're gonna have different. Listen, we'll have different hair too.
All right, ladies, let's do our to-go box. So Chanel, what are you taking away?
Wow, so many gems within this episode. It's definitely giving me flashbacks of a previous episode with Candace Wright, the Just Speak Your Truth, and how, Ebony, you are absolutely living in your truth, and I love to see it. And you're not doing it for nobody's approval or, you know, thoughts. You're just living your life, and that is so dope. And I'm in awe. I can't wait to see what all you have in store. I'm excited for Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. Like, that's lit. Like, I'm excited about it now. So thank you for sharing your light and sharing your truth on our platform. We cannot wait to have you back.
Miss Eboni P, what are you taking away?
Well, I am taking away that purposeless people distract people. Okay, that is heavy. Like, that's heavy. You have no purpose, so wait. I take that back, because if you think about it, y'all, they do got a purpose. Their purpose is to distract. So they're not purposeless because their purpose is to distract.
You know what?
But it's up to us to redirect.
Yeah. In that moment, right? So their purpose is greater than that, but they're allowing the devil to use them to be about his agenda, which is to distract. Right. So I agree. Yes. Wow. Yeah. That's heavy, right? So I guess they're on his job, right?
They're on his job. They're on his time, which is limited.
Listen.
Yes. Interesting.
That's why the list is behind their purpose, because it's
right.
limited.
Interesting.
Wow.
My takeaway is to celebrate the parts of you that people don't embrace. The parts of you that people call ugly.
That's good.
The parts of you that are unlike anybody else. Because, you know, while you're differently abled, and people don't call people that aren't differently able, but we all sort of are, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a way, people just don't receive it in that way, but we all have our own differences. And just knowing that it doesn't put a limit on you, it just allows you to have creative space to make a new way. And that's why I love so much that you call yourself differently able, because you're saying, oh, there's no boundaries. I can still do it. I'm just not going to do it the way you do it. But the flip side of that is, I bet you that I can't do some stuff the way that you do it. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, when people look at me and be like, oh, she's disabled because she can't whistle.
Right.
Because I can't. That's a real thing. Y'all can't do that. I don't know why. I just can't do it. I be trying, but it doesn't work.
So funny.
But nobody would be like, oh, she can't whistle, so she's disabled. Like, nobody would say that. They wouldn't say she's limited. She's broken in a sense. Like, they wouldn't put a label like that on me. So I don't think it's fair to put that on other people. And I think that for everything that you can't do, there's something else that you can. There's something else that you can. God has given us all gifts, and he certainly has given us all purpose. And I really love what you said in the beginning. You talked about how God doesn't make mistakes. He does not err. That's not something that he never lost. Okay.
He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't create, God does not create waste.
He does not create waste.
We are all purposeful. We all have a purpose, but it's up to us to tap into him so that we can figure out what that purpose is. I told them on one of our Sunday check-ins that God is the ultimate charger. He's everywhere. Like, all we have to do is stay connected to him.
Right. And he's the creator, right? So whenever you want to know what something was created for, you have to go back to the manufacturer and ask. You got to read that.
You got to have a personal relationship with him, though. You have to.
That's the key right there. Otherwise, you'll find yourself distracting people.
Okay. Wandering in the wilderness.
In the wilderness.
40 years.
Yes.
Well, all righty. It's been such a pleasure having you. We can't wait to have you back. And I hope that you all were listening and taking some notes and listen back so that you know, so you can think about the thing that you think is your limit, and you can choose to find a way around it. You can find another way to get to whatever your desired end goal is.
Indeed.
So thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time, peace.